Hey everyone, I am here today with Ashlyn from Cypress, Texas, which is a Houston suburb, and I am stoked to have her. I have talked to her a couple times in the past, and she's great. She's very energetic and excited, and I think she's told me some things we're going to talk about, and I'm really excited to dive in. So thanks for being here, Ashlyn.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be really good. So give everybody a quick overview, your background a little bit, and then what made you want to start doing this, and then maybe an overview of where you're at today with subscribers, the general stuff.
Yeah, so I have a bit of an untraditional background. So I was a civil engineer for 2 years. I got into writing because the 12-hour days just weren't for me. And this is pre-AI days. So this is like your 2017, 2018, super early days. So writing was something you had to break into. It wasn't as easy as it would be right now, to curate articles and blogs and things like that. So I broke into writing, became a finance writer. I wrote for Forbes, USA Today, Kiplinger, had a great career, but I could see what was happening in the market from all the layoffs, and I went through 3 rounds of layoffs in 3 years, and I just got to a point where it just wasn't stable. And I was like, I want something different, something that I own. And then, of course, I started hearing, it was on the corner office. I heard Jazz's episode. Is that his name? Jazz from Winnipeg Digest? Yeah.
Yep.
So I heard him, and then that's how I found you because you later did a podcast with him earlier. I know you just recently did another one, but you did one earlier on. And I started going down the rabbit hole like, oh, I've done all of this for other people. I can definitely do this for myself. So I had a little bit of an upper hand because I knew the Beehive platform. I knew SEO. I knew how to write for an audience, how to maintain that voice. Had a little bit of design chops because you just kind of have to. It's a learned skill when you're a writer to make your own, at least to give design direction. So a lot of these skills I already had. It was just, am I going to go for it? So that's kind of how Cypress Digest came along. As of right now, I have been doing this for 6 months is when I turned ads on and started taking it seriously. I'm at about 3,300 subscribers, 53.6% open rate, and almost an 11% click through.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's a great intro. Thanks for that. So, you had emailed me. You've got some things starting to work. So let's start with I think what's most interesting to people, which is advertising, right? Getting ads, getting revenue. So tell me where you're at with that. Some things you've learned, things you're doing. Let's hear what
Yeah,
you're up to.
definitely. So, I'm an avid listener. I listen to I've implemented almost everything you have suggested. And I would honestly advise everyone to do that because you don't know. Your market may be different than my market, may be different than someone else's. So test everything, be willing to kill the things that don't work. And there's no such thing as a sunk cost fallacy. Let it ride. If it doesn't work, kill it, try something different. Even small iterations can change the result, right? So
Totally.
initially, what I was doing was reaching out like one on one, like finding their emails, basic contacting info on their email, on their website. And as you know, you hit a lot of gatekeepers, you hit a lot of catch-alls. So I switched it up. Another one of your recent episodes, somebody was DMing on Instagram. So I tried that. That worked out pretty well. Again, it was one of those things that you are going to sometimes reach the owner, sometimes reach the marketer, but then other times they just don't read it. And, that's not very repeatable. So, still works, definitely works, but at a scale, it doesn't work as well. I did try scraping emails, and that worked okay. But again, you have to go through the process of scraping, validating. I wouldn't try it at scale. You're going to ruin your deliverability standards, unless you're trying like different mailboxes through like Instantly, other tools. But I found some good success using Apollo. So Apollo IO is a sales, it's a very affordable version of like seamless AI. You can look up people by their company, find marketers in that company, get their web address, their phone number, and I think I pay like $30 a month for it or something, but it allows me to jump. You see what I mean? There's other tools. Now, you don't get as many credits as you would with Seamless AI, but we're not salesmen trying to reach thousands of people in a day. So it works really well for this situation. So yeah, $30 a month. Once again, a tool, test it. If it does, they give you like a 14-day free trial. If it doesn't work, kill it. But it allowed me to jump over the gatekeepers and go direct to the source, to get them on the phone, to offer another avenue that wasn't just me throwing it off into the dark. Um, and then most recently, what I would have to say has been success. I want to say successful in a way, but I haven't finished fleshing it out yet. So I talked to you last week to schedule this. I went ahead and tried something, lead gen, just like you would run for a home service business, lead gen through Facebook, where they fill out a form, and very simple static image. I tested 3 images, a $10 a day, and over the past week, I've gotten 75 leads off of that. So
You know over a lot, though. I want to dig
I'm
into
sorry.
a bunch of
I'm
different.
sorry.
Okay. No, it's good. It's good. I'm super interested in this lead gen because you just, yeah, we got to really dig into that. But let's go back
Yeah.
real quick on Apollo. So Apollo is where you're using that to get the information, like the name, phone number, email
Yeah.
of like the owner of a business.
There you
So are
go.
you saying were you sending emails through Apollo, or were you just using it to get their name and phone number and then calling them, or both?
So it works both ways. It's a
Okay.
CRM, so you definitely can go in there and link your email address, and you can bulk sequence the emails if you want to. Add your personalizations where if you give it, say you find a lead and it has their name, their email, and the business, you can do it to where it's hi name. It can be an automated thing. I
Mhm.
personally don't like that very much. It makes me, I still have to read it over. I still have to check it because, you know your offer is different for different industries. But yes, that's where you're going to find the most accurate list of contacts throughout whatever state you're in.
Okay. And but did you use it? Did you actually like cold call from it, or was it just
Yeah.
email?
Oh yeah,
You
I
did.
cold
Okay.
called, but it was when you're on a time crunch like that. That sometimes to me is like the third touch point. That's not your first
Mhm.
space. That's not
Okay.
because I don't answer calls I don't know. So
Hmm.
to me, it's like warm them up a little bit. Like hit them on
Yeah.
Instagram, send them an email, watch
Hmm.
if the email, because it allows you to track if the email was opened or not. So,
Hmm.
if I see they open the email, if I see they read my DM, okay, now I'm going to call them.
Okay.
And, so there's a process to it, right? So I only do that for those high LTV clients where it's like, I know I could benefit you, and I know the minute I get you on the phone and show you that, we could close a nice deal together.
Hmm. Excellent. Okay. Cool. No, that's really good advice. Again, on the last episode, John had mentioned Smart Lead as an option as well. It sounds
Hmm.
relatively similar to
Yeah.
Apollo, but I haven't tried either of them yet. But I definitely need to.
Hmm.
Okay, lead gen. You, I'm confused, but in a good way. I want to hear more. So, it sounded like you said you were doing lead gen for businesses. It kind of give me the details of what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish when you started this.
So I wasn't doing lead gen for businesses, but the way we would do lead gen is very similar to the way a home-based business would do lead gen, as in they're going to create the ad creative, the copy, use your Advantage Plus if you want to. I use Advantage Plus, but I summarize it to just my city because obviously it doesn't benefit me to target anyone who's just interested in the city. I need them living here. And so the exact same way they would do it is leave it as a, hey, if you want a free quote, fill out the form. Exact same thing, except my sell was um, connect with Cypress, Cypress residents, or connect your business to the community, become a partner with Cypress Digest. And I would kind of like how the pitching a collaboration, don't pitch advertisement, pitch a partnership. So that's what I would do. And I got, yeah, about 75 leads,
So
and that was name, email, phone number, business,
okay,
right?
so what you did, okay, I get it now. So you ran ads
Mm-hmm.
specifically targeting business owners to be your advertisers. I know you call it partners, but like you were trying to find people to give you money, essentially, businesses to give you
Yeah.
money. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So here's what I will tell you. First thing that's interesting is I've had this idea for a while. Of course, I haven't tried it. I had heard, I think I've had maybe one or two people on here who said they've tried that and failed and didn't get any. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a couple people on Twitter say they tried it and failed. So it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you succeeded. So tell me what's going on here. Why are you succeeding here? And that's great. I want to learn more about this. 75 leads, and how much did you spend? You said $10 a
$10
day. No,
a day. So I think I've maybe spent like $60 this week.
so basically under a dollar per
Yeah.
lead of a business
Oh,
who
yeah.
really said I am interested. Yeah. So what you're describing right now, by the way, is obviously like if you're able to do this, like which clearly you are, you did it, is way better than doing Apollo or cold calling or anything
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're just getting people to like
You're getting
their
your time
options are
back,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every
Well,
time we talk, the same story is, oh, I've been thinking about this. I need to try it. Oh, I've been
yeah,
thinking about this. I need to try it.
yeah.
And what's our limit? Our limit is our time, right? So I'm like, this outreach takes far more time than any newsletter, any written piece, any design I've ever done. How can I automate this? Am I willing to spend this amount of money to get leads? And I was expecting maybe 2 or 3 a week. I would have been very happy with that. But,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is super interesting. I'm excited that you figured this out. We'll talk later. I want to see like if this is replicable, right? Because the question, I
yeah,
would assume it is. That's what makes this whole model. I was just telling somebody this
exactly.
morning why this model is so great is why would this
Mhm.
work in a suburb of Houston and not in a suburb of Austin or Dallas or LA or anywhere else? It
Yeah.
probably will,
hmm
which is awesome. So that's
hmm
really cool.
Yep.
Um, man, okay. I don't know how much more detail we want to get into on this right now, but maybe we'll talk
Yeah,
about that later.
we could
Well,
definitely do a whole like I could
yeah,
walk you through because it's not after you do research and figure out where Facebook has been going or Meta has been going with their algorithm, a lot of it is on
yeah,
your copy and your creative, right? And I love what you said about, don't reinvent the wheel. And I wasn't trying to. I saw a local print magazine a couple of cities off do this same thing, and I knew their targeting was off because they were reaching out to me.
mhm,
So I knew immediately that was the issue, but they had those ads that had been running for 6 months. I was like, something's working for this. Let me create my own version. And it hit really well.
I love that. That's literally what I mean. In this case, it's the exact same thing they're doing that you're replicating. But even in other cases, it's find something that's close to what we want to do, or maybe in a
Yeah.
different industry, and then just niche it down primarily location, right? It's like, hey, if somebody's doing something nationally that looks really cool, is there an opportunity to do it locally and just take the same exact concept, do it local? Um, this is really cool. So, okay, you got 75 leads. When did this happen? Have you called any of them? Have you made deals with any of them? How's it
Oh,
been going with all these leads?
it's been some late nights. It's been some
Okay.
late nights because they come in steadily and you're pretty much on the time clock the minute they hit your inbox. And I have a thank you sequence set up, but after that, because things change so much on my end, it's like a constant update. Like if you contacted me a week ago, okay, I have 200 more subscribers now, and I've gotten maybe like 5,000 more views, and I want to make sure that's conveyed. And so you're trying to automate as much as possible, but you do need hands-on because okay, someone reaches out to me from a capital management, right, company, and their lifetime value of a client is way higher than a home cleaning service. So I'm not going to try to sell you the same package. Your benefit doesn't work like that. So it is still tedious, but at least they're now at my door, right? So I send them over my media kit, my demographics, I have 75% are women, over 80% make 100K, they live in these neighborhoods, and that's my hook, right? Like I have who you want, and they're interested in home services, all that good stuff. And then that's when I throw out, these are my packages, but I feel like this would work really well for you, or this would work really well for you.
Very interesting. Okay.
So I've
Have
contacted them all,
you
but
contacted?
over last night I had to send out like I had to go through a bulk because I had about 20 stacked up that I was like I really have to get to them. But it was newsletter night and I've launched my Friday one this morning, so I was very busy last night. But I wanted to individually get to them. So of the ones that I've contacted, I've had three come back that were, and you could tell, right? You can tell when people submit to you, it's pretty easy to tell how serious they are about an opportunity because they maybe have their website set up, they have branding, they have an established Facebook page. They are now past the startup. They are now trying to grow. They're trying to establish, and some are just like trying to feel it out. And I still want to help those people too, but my time has to go to people who are serious to make it worth my time, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is just kind of understanding who your ideal clients are. Like some of, again, it comes back to some of what we get as inbound, which would be similar to what you're doing now, right? People excited, ooh, I want to connect with the local people in Cypress. Well, like I just got one yesterday, the day before. She works from home and makes like pumpkin bread, right? And it's like, okay, that's cool, and actually people probably would like it in the newsletter, but that she can't afford what, like you said, like a financial planner that's just a totally different market,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so I didn't even email her like, oh, here's our multi-thousand-dollar package for the year. Like, obviously, just kind of know this going in as to
Hmm.
what you're targeting for who based on what you know about how much money they make, essentially.
And yeah, and so that's the thing too. And maybe at a different point in time when I'm, but at this point I'm so kind of constricted to I have only 2 sends a week. So I need to maximize it as much as possible. And if I can, like if I have a free week and I have a couple of local businesses that I think are great, but they're just not there yet, okay, I'm going to shout you out for free because I know one day you're going to hit it big and those types of things reciprocate. I'm a big believer in karma. I've had good things come back to me just from helping people who weren't in a financial situation, but I had nothing to lose by it, right? And I believed in your product. So,
I mean, exactly. That's why we've frequently in the past and even still run ads for free for people. It's like
hmm
I don't have anything there anyway. Why would I not just help this banana bread lady or whoever
yeah.
put an ad in for him? Again, that's getting harder because we're getting people actually wanting to
Yes.
pay. So,
Yes.
but then that's why I created I think the answer there for some people is we're doing this now as the classified section. So it's
Yes.
basically ads at the bottom. For now,
hmm
it's just like, hey, we'll do that for free. Like literally, that's what I replied to the banana bread lady with was like, hey, obviously you're this is ideal for you. Hey, we'll do it for free, right?
Yeah.
And just message her back, and I'll put it in the classifieds. We did that this morning. So when she
Yeah.
responds,
We have
um,
something very similar. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So figuring out ways, but yes, helping people as much as you can within reason. That's why I have this whole idea of like for restaurants doing it more as giveaways, right?
Yes.
Because they can't afford to pay you the ad rate because they don't make enough money, but they can do giveaways. So then it's like figure out
hmm
ways to help promote them where you both benefit, and that seems to be a good way for restaurants.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is really cool. We're gonna have to talk again at some point in the next month or two to see the update on. I mean, 75 leads for $60. I mean, I'll do it right now. I mean, literally everybody's problem is you don't have enough people to call
Yeah.
or you're chasing people down. So
hmm
that's really cool. I'm excited for you. Okay. Now, one thing you said. I want to ask you another question. I know I asked you this a couple months ago. I don't know if anything's changed on social media because you said you're limited in space. I'm talking to somebody next week who's doing one of these in Canada, and I don't know all the details. This is secondhand, so don't quote me. I won't say who it is, but they're selling tons of tons of ads, and I think they're just doing them, 90% of them on Instagram, right?
mm
So technically, you aren't limited if you go after social media, right? Because there's not a
Yeah.
space limit there. So tell me, are you doing much on social media, or are you planning to? How do you think about it?
I offer it as an add-on, but it's not something that I just pitch. Um, and honestly, I think that's a great idea. It's literally a bandwidth thing because I've had people reach out. Oh, we'd love to see an article about this. We'd love to see a guide on this. Someone reached out about a job board this morning, and very nice woman, and I took her husband's resume to hand out to my network. But I was like, I've heard this work for people. I am just
Mhm.
at a point where I'm capped out. I still so this all of this every scraping all of the events. We had 114 events last week, and I scraped every single one of them and put links in and descriptions into our events list. So, all of those every single week, the two that go out, I put out maybe 2 or 3 articles, 2 or 3 social media posts. I homeschool and I have a full-time job. I'm at my complete
Oh,
limit.
geez. Okay.
So, we're now at a point
Yeah.
where I either need to hire a VA
Mhm.
or something's going to have to change. I'm now at my breaking point, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But all of these ideas, yeah, there's plenty of places to grow if you're willing to be creative about it. But I am a low hanging fruit person. I want to always reach for the thing that's easiest. And so I think recently, what I've found for all of these businesses that you're talking about that do not have the budget is I offer directory listings. So I
Okay.
built a directory, and you can pay $10 a month to have a standard listing to your site and the details and everything, or you can pay for a premium listing, which puts you at the top with a logo, a better description, maybe a review, and it sets you apart. And all of the traffic that I drive, either through posts or ads, the newsletter, those are the people who get the calls first. And then it allows small businesses to still get exposure. And then, say I have a loose spot one month and I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to fill this. Anybody want it? I'm offering it for X dollars. And, now you have that tap of constant someone to pull from that may not have been in that position before, but a lot can change in 3 months for them. So,
Yeah, no, this is really interesting. Okay, yeah, I've had a few people talking on here about directories. I think it's a big opportunity. I haven't taken the leap yet.
mhm.
It's in the works. But so first off, tell me like structurally. So where did this directory come from? How'd you make it? Is it like a WordPress kind of one of those ones that like a template kind of thing you can do?
No.
Or
And the
okay,
reason I would advise someone not to do WordPress is because, yes, WordPress is easy in a sense, drag and drop, but there's so many other tools now that are made for solopreneurs that don't want to learn how to do HTML and read the H2 code and put in the alt text. There are now tools that'll do that for you. So for me personally, Beehive is great. Its website is still very, very clunky. I know they're still making developments on that. I use the website. But for this specifically, that was going to be very heavy, very link heavy. I needed to update it. It needed to be UI, UX friendly. I went with that. I don't know if you've ever heard of Vercel or V dot
yeah, yeah.
zero.
I use V0 all the time. Yeah, yeah,
There you go. So I built a
yeah.
directory through there.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it does the updates. I would highly advise you to experiment a little bit with little things that make the UI, UX a little bit better. Like if they scroll to the bottom, because directories get to be like 600 lists long, right? And I told it to add a little tab where it clicks it and it'll take them back to the top. There's a search bar. There's a chat helper. If you want to get a quote, you can tell the chat helper it's linked to my Jot form. So you could tell the chat helper what you want to get done. It's going to send it to me and I'm going to call my guy and be like, hey, I got a lead for you. And that's an upsell for me.
Okay. I'm so glad you did this. This is so cool. I built my directory, like the design in V0 about 3 months ago, 4 months ago,
Hmm.
maybe. It looks great. I just, of course, have not done anything with it because, on V0, at least when I did it 4 months ago, it was just like a shell. It's like, it looks pretty, but it doesn't actually, there's no businesses in it. There's no nothing. So tell me, how
Okay.
did you go from, okay, so you designed it in V0. So for anybody listening, highly encourage you to go sign up for V0, pay their $20. So you don't have to just
Pay
start,
the
but
$20.
it's just like ChatGPT. Just freaking do it.
It
So
is.
I built. So by the way, and I can share it later or whatever. But I built my like ad sales page on V0. My
Hmm.
forms. It has forms built in V0.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of crap. So I use that for all this stuff. I actually built my software in V0, which I have not announced yet, but I will later, about local newsletters. But anyway, so V0 is great. So you built the design, which looks really cool.
Hmm.
How did you make it real, like with actual businesses? Although I think I
Okay.
might know the answer. Go ahead.
So this is going to get a little techie, and it kind of goes into what else I wanted to talk to you about, which was local SEO. So staying on the directory thing, I use a tool for my local SEO clients that's called Local Falcon. And the minute I put that in, it'll tell me where they rank in competition to all of the other businesses listed for that keyword in my city or within the range that I'm searching for. And that gives me the name, the Google address, the phone number. So I'm able to very easily see, who the top 20 are. And I can just scrape those, give it to GPT. Hey, give me a listing of these and add in, I'll add in the numbers or the email address, or I won't, and I'll just leave it blank to upsell later. And then I feed that to Vercel. And then obviously you have to check it. Vercel's a little, or a V.0 is a little, I wouldn't say forgetful, but sometimes a previous version will get omitted for the new thing you've asked for. So you have to always go back and check and be testing it before you hit publish. Otherwise, back it back out. But that's how I did it is I just use that tool. But there's so many other ways you could scrape the businesses and everything. But what that does is that's going to scrape every business that's listed and maybe not ones that are still active with information that's not active. Local Falcon does it in real time.
Interesting. Okay, I've not heard of this one, so this is really cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I will look into this. You're making me feel like I need to stop being lazy and just get this thing
No,
going.
no,
I think it's
no, it's
great.
not that. I just listen to you go down the wormhole, right? And then it's low
Yeah.
hanging fruit. It's all of this is low hanging fruit because SEO is not a difficult thing, but it is a process that a lot of people don't understand and don't care
Right.
to understand. They want someone else to do it, and they're happy to pay me to take care of it for them.
Well, so first of all, step back a little bit. You say you have local SEO clients. What does that mean? Are you acting as like an agency for
Yeah.
SEO well, explain that.
So once again, uh, home service businesses operate a lot different than these big industry. They do not have the marketing budget. A lot of times they go straight off of either referrals or where they rank in Google. If I need a plumber, if I need an electrician, I'm going to type it into Google electrician near me, and it's going to know I'm in the Cypress area. And within the first 3 miles of where I'm at, I'm going to start getting the people who have a Google business profile, who have all of their things connected to the website, email, name, and that's who's going to show up first. Now, the top three that come up in Google is called the Google Map Pack. That is the sweet spot. About 75% of traffic goes to those three. So if I'm a home business that is kind of based on getting that traffic without spending thousands in advertising month over month or trusting that my referral network will hold strong, I would do just about anything to get into that map pack and stay there. But it's a process. It's a repetitive 3 month is pretty much the baseline. Like you got to be willing to be consistent for 3 months. And a lot of people don't have the time to learn it, don't have the time to do it, or just feel overwhelmed with what they're already doing. So I offer a low fee and I'll go in and I will create your Google business profile. I'll manage it. I'll make sure your SEO across your website matches the directory listings, matches all of these things that tell Google this is a real business, this is a reputable business, you should send traffic to it.
Wow. I mean, this is exactly what I constantly tell people is having another business on the back end and you're just doing local SEO. So that's really cool. I don't know SEO. Like this is something I kind of want to do as well, but I don't know because it's not easy. And every time I've tried to look into it, it seems, I mean, again, it's not rocket science, right? But as you said, it's a process. And for people like me who are just all over the place, it's hard to focus on getting the process down. So
Well, what I was trying to create with that though is something that no one else could replicate out here, right? So all of these marketing agencies, also these SEO agencies, they can either offer you one thing or another. They can help you with SEO, but that's a 3 month play, maybe 6 months, depending on what you're paying them and how much they know. So do you really have 3 to 6 months to waste? Okay, so now you need to go visit with an agency who knows advertising and get you out in front of well, where do you put your ad spend? Do I give it to Facebook? Do I give it to Google? Cost per click looks different across keywords. There's a lot that stacks up there. You come to me, I'm going to take care of your SEO on the back end, but in the meantime, I'm going to handle your advertising on the front end because if you do want to run Facebook ads, I know how to do them because they've worked for me. If you want to run just newsletter ads, if you want to be on my website, you want to be on my social, hey, I've got all that too. So you're going to come to me and get something you're not going to get anywhere else, and that's the sell.
yeah, no, this is really cool. So just as a quick, because I'm literally curious, I want to start doing what you're doing. So I'm looking at your website. Is the main website, cypressdigest.com, that's a Beehive site?
So that is a Beehive site,
That's
the
Beehive,
directory.
the
If you click,
directory.
is that where you're at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So it goes
that's,
to directory dot Cypress Direct.
yep. So that's a
That is Beehive.
subdomain.
It's a
Yes.
subdomain it's it didn't feel really too much like it, but it's a different, it's the
Yes.
V0 site. And so,
So I
okay.
tried to keep the same colors, but you can definitely
Mhm.
tell a difference because
I,
V0
I,
is it's from a code standpoint, right? It can change everything down to but that's what happens when you have preset code where you can only change so much and you have it builds from the HTML ground up. It can change anything you want it to. But I do want to note for your audience that when we say setting up a subdomain, that's free. Like usually
yeah.
with I use Namecheap and I can go add a subdomain. So mine is cypressdigest.com. I wanted to do a directory, so I named it directory.cypressdigest.com. These are separate entities in the eyes of Google, but you can still get them to talk to each other.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, totally. This is what I have like ads dot
Yeah.
which is like, or events dot, and then it can just be a website that build in V0, which you can build all via text. Again, I can't stress enough to people that I used to, hate that I couldn't figure out how to design a website because I just even drag and drop one. I couldn't do it. I just hated it. I don't have the patience for it. And now you just do it via text. You just tell
There
it
you
what you
go.
want, and it does. It's not perfect, but it's
No.
shockingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had one just yesterday. We were in V0, and we like my assistant. He accidentally forgot to type what he was telling it to do and hit enter. Like before he even told it what to do, he like used he typed in the first like 3 words and then hit enter. Like, oh crap, we didn't tell it what to do. It did it anyway. It like was able to
Mhm.
guess what we were gonna tell it to do, and it did it without even literally telling it what to do. It was crazy.
Yes.
So okay, that's awesome. All right, well, I'm excited by this. I think people should go check out your directory and really think about doing a directory because yeah, you're already you're doing this.
Yeah,
This is
it's
great.
low hanging fruit. It's something
Yeah.
simple, easy, you can build off of it, and you'd be surprised how many people are more than willing to give you whatever to be on your directory where they know people trust you, people trust those ratings. I mean, that trust is, you really can't put a price on it at all.
Yeah. No, this is super cool. Okay. All right. Tell me about like sales tactics. Is there anything more than what we kind of talked about a little bit already that you are trying or working on?
So it's both a good thing and a bad thing. So when you go with an advertising agency or a magazine out here, a lot of times they will just do a logo or you have to design it. And I mean, a lot of times small business owners, even medium-sized business owners, they don't employ a full-time marketer. They paid one time for a logo. They don't know how to adjust it, find the color code, hex codes. They don't know how to do all that. So for me, when you book with me, I'm going to design everything for you. Now you have the choice to say no or provide something yourself. I've had only one person do that, and that was for a really big company that operates like internationally. So I could understand why she wanted it to be uniform. But for my small business owners, I will make ads that have like they're grabbing, right? There's something, to them. And that to me has closed more deals than anything when I get them to say, "Hey, would you be interested in a collaboration?" "Yeah, what are you thinking?" And I send them over the ad sample. And they're like, "I love this. I love how you did it. How did you get our colors? Where did you get this? I made it. You cannot find it anywhere. It is mine." You know? So that immediately tells them, okay, she knows what she's doing. This looks really great. Let me open up the lines of communication a little more. I haven't gotten a yes off of all of them, but I have gotten some, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is really great. I love this." And so that to me is one of the biggest things, is be willing to show your skill and do it for free at first.
Yes.
Nothing
I
lost, right?
yes, I'm so obsessed with this idea of what you just said of like provide value. I mean, it's kind of what we do in a way with the whole purpose of the local newsletter, right? Which is you're providing value first to residents in this case, and then you're going to get the value later, right? With an advertiser, oh look, I built this thing that people are paying attention to, and it's the
Hmm.
same thing with advertisers. Like do something up front first for free to like prove yourself, because again, I'm sure we all know if you're on Twitter or obviously email, cold emails, social media, you get these like, oh, hey, I'll do this for you or whatever. Or, hey, I can build this thing or get you 50 calls from. And it's always like, I don't know you. I don't know that you can do anything. If you're just a random idiot, I don't know if your profile's fake. I don't know what's going on. So when you do something for free for someone,
Hmm.
that proves that you're serious. It proves that you're capable. It proves you're like the type of person who does something for free first. And people have the natural instinct to give back to you because that's human nature. Read the book Influence, you'll
Hmm.
understand that. Um, it just
And
makes so much
and
sense. So I love that.
Can I say something else about that?
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely want to share the fact that not everything has come from a monetary standpoint for me. There are sometimes, like you were talking about the pumpkin bread lady, I'm partnering with a porch pumpkin lady. She's not actual porch pumpkins, it's something different for Cypress. It's called patio pumpkins. She's adorable. And I saw her on Instagram. She was just getting started. She had a couple of pictures. I'm like, "Hey, let's partner up. Like, I'll do it off of, and I sent something free out to the network and everyone loved it. She got like 60 clicks off that one cent. And I went back to her. I said, "Hey, let's partner up because this
Yeah.
year, you're not going to be just rolling in it, but this time next year, me and you can work out some really great campaigns to get these paid for up front." Like looking at it from a marketing lens. And so now me and her are partnering up on an affiliate basis for this year. And I don't like that because I don't want to take from her income. So I definitely want to cap her at a certain point because it's just, this is her first year. But that kind of stuff. So what she did for me in return was she left such a thoughtful review. And after that review, for some reason, I kept getting more reviews and these very, Cypress Digest is a community connector and nobody really realizes, except for people like us, how much those testimonies mean. You cannot buy those. You just can't. So,
Totally. Well, that's first of all, that's really cool. I love this business specifically. Everybody jazzed and everybody's talking about Christmas lights, and of course, decorating your porch for Halloween is the same thing, but easier and simpler. And I think
yes.
people, it's hard to find. Nobody just knows. Like even if you type Google it, it's probably hard to find. So that's a super valuable one. I actually literally have looked for one in the last couple of weeks. I've tried to find one. I need to do that again because time's coming up here. We're gonna have to do that.
Mm.
And then as far as you like doing the affiliate thing, I think that is the answer, right? Especially she's just starting, you're just starting, you don't know like if it's gonna work. And I would tell you not to feel bad about it and just tell her to add your fee to her rate. So if she charges $500 and you want 100, just tell her to charge $600. She's not out anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I'm going to get back with her on that. But yes, we're working something out. I'm really excited for that partnership because once again, I think this year will be hey, we're probably both going to just break even on this thing. But next year, like we're going to do a summer campaign. We're going to lean into this and, I'm going to be able to use all your pictures and your images and your reviews for your
yeah,
campaigns next year and it's going to make it easier on the both of us, right?
totally. I love that. This is awesome. Hey, real quick
Mhm.
on the directory, are you doing anything to push people to it? Like let's say for example in the newsletter, like, oh, here's a business, and then the link actually goes to the directory. Is that what you're doing?
So two things. I have a resource section that is static in every single one of my newsletters. It like features some of my best guides, the directory, and something else, something that's like important but doesn't have a cell on there for me. And that's how I had to revamp because somebody kept going to the directory and they finally messaged me like, "Hey, it stopped. It's not doing this or it's not doing that." And so I just overhauled it and I got great feedback on it. And that's what the idea came from. Like I could charge people for this, but I do plan on running traffic ads to it because unless you're a newsletter subscriber, you would know about it. But if people are looking for businesses in the area, you market it as a find a trusted business. Don't just trust, Google. Don't just trust their advertise. Like these are people who have been vetted and have, I know who they are and I know they're real because of different programs I can run it through. So it just adds a little bit more of validity, right?
Yeah. No, that's super smart. Okay, man, you're doing some really great stuff for not having done this for very long. So that's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, thank you. Because half the time
Uh,
I feel like I'm drowning.
well, you're drowning because you're succeeding, right? You're doing a lot of things. You're moving. You're taking
Yeah.
action. Things are working. You have more people to follow up with. Remember, when you're failing, well, I guess you could be trying a lot of things, but if you're busy because it's working, right? I mean, even
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
which is good, right? Because you don't
Yeah.
want the like I have lots of time because nobody's calling me back and I don't have
Yeah.
much going on. So that's
As an
really good. Okay.
entrepreneur, that's the best thing about it too, is when you're an entrepreneur, it's like when you're busy, it's usually because you're making money. If you've done your ROI and everything correctly, then you're usually making money. So
Or
that's what
you're
it
on
feels
track.
like. Or you're on track. Yeah, you're about to move the needle somewhere in
Yeah,
the direction you've been trying to.
totally. Absolutely. Um, tell me, let's talk about competition a little bit. So you and I don't I'm trying to think how many people I've had on here who are in Texas. I don't think
Yeah.
I, oddly enough, haven't had many. So you might be the first. So let's talk about competition. First thing, because I haven't mentioned this a ton, but it is something I think about is that I don't know if people realize that you and I have probably the biggest legitimate competitor that nobody else has who's not in Texas, which is a
Yep.
company called Community Impact.
Hmm.
It is a very large company that has lots of local publications, email and paper. They send a newspaper once a month. It is very well done. I'm not a huge fan of their newsletters, but overall, as a company, they are really good at a lot of things, and they've been around for 20 years, which is part of that. The owner lives here near me. I've met with him. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing. They're doing a lot of good stuff, which sucks for us. I mean, well, sucks not forever, but it makes things a little bit harder for us. Um, but being as successful as they are, they also have a lot of limitations that come with that, which we can talk about
Yeah.
here. But
Yeah.
even so, we could talk about community impact specifically because some people may have something, even though it won't be the same or as big, it'll be similar enough. Um, and how to deal with that, what the cons are, but also what the pros are, and how to deal in a sales pitch when people acknowledge your competitor as, oh, well, why wouldn't I go with them? That kind of thing.
I'm going to be completely honest. This is going to sound cocky, and it's not meant to be cocky. It's more meant to be confidence. There's no competition at all.
Okay, well, explain.
Because I talked with someone who wanted to run something in community impact, and they got charged around 6 grand. And that's just not feasible. So they're cutting off what I would have to assume is about 70% of the business market in
Do,
my town.
do you know what this? I'm curious. The 6 grand. What is that? Because do you know what that covered? Like,
I didn't ask the
I mean,
details. I felt like that was because it was a potential
yeah,
client, and I didn't want to probe.
yeah, yeah,
I just wanted to see what they were paying, and they're like, we got offered like six. And mind you, I didn't vet this. They could have been telling a
yeah, yeah,
story. I don't know,
yeah. I'm just
but
wondering if that's like. if that's their lowest package or if that's like some top
Probably
tier that
not. I would assume
yeah.
it's not I wouldn't assume it's not their lowest package, but I would say that's probably in line. And,
Hmm.
their big money maker is, I want to say, so they hit, in my understanding, they hit three avenues. They hit print, digital, and your website, which website and digital are the same thing. But when I say digital, I mean newsletter, right? So they're hitting your inbox, your web, and your mailbox every month is when the mail goes out, right? And then they do newsletters daily and they do websites daily. I subscribe to three of them in a local area for the newsletter, and what I've seen is they're um, modular, meaning that these three stories match this area, but it also matches this area. So these are not three unique newsletters. These are three recreated newsletters across three different areas that have three different storylines. So that's one. The depth of their articles, they won't dig farther than the surface, I noticed, and I'm willing to go do some research and backdoor it to get the information I need. Um, Community impact and your other like magazines and everything before they go to print, that's a really long process. If I want to do something, I'm in charge and I'm not like held to another brand or to a franchise. I can do whatever I want whenever I want, and likely because it's digital, I can take it down if it doesn't work or right, or I can change it, or it's just me. If I make a mistake, I can just haha laugh it off and tell everybody, hey, I messed up on this one and this is what it was. They can't do that. So I will beat them every single time at price, at scalability, and at timeliness. And mind you, and I have to remind anybody who's listening to this who's in the newsletter game, competition is going to be your worst enemy because remember something, these big brands have a 20-person office for that one newspaper, and it is just you. And it is perfectly fine. Do not beat them at every new business launch or every event that happened, or you can't show up and do a recording. They have somebody for social media, somebody to edit, someone to write. It is just you. And the fact that I've been able to cover what half of my local competitor has covered in the 6 months that I've been here, and it's just me, I'm like, okay, if I get a VA and I'm able to offload some of this, like I'm going to scale way quicker. But, lucky for you, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. No, I mean it makes a ton of sense. I mean it's kind of the typical situation with a large company versus a startup, right? Where a large company they have so many layers of bureaucracy, things take longer, their cost is higher because they have so
Hmm.
many people, right? Um, and so like in any situation, when you're the startup and you're going against the legacy big time players, you find those things that you have advantages on, like you said, and you go after them, and they'll still win. That's where I think the realistic. It's not that we can't. I don't want to say that we can't win these, but take for example. I'm fascinated with this one because I can't seem to get in front of them. Not that I've tried that hard, but still, say like the hospital system, right? If you
Yep.
open a magazine like Community Impact or any of these hospital systems will buy full pages all the time,
Hmm.
and whoever his sales team or him or whoever they've got those relationships kind of locked down that are very difficult to get, um, and harder for us unless you somehow have an in to find those. But then when you take the medium sized like companies that have budget are able to spend real money, but they're not so big that they have literally 15 layers of management. That's where we
Hmm.
can come in and shine on top of the smaller,
Yeah.
obviously.
So I would definitely, at this stage that I'm in, that's in my sights. Don't get me wrong, but that's a Q2 of next year thing. Maybe Q3 if things don't go well. And to me, it's like I don't need to pay for an office or print fees or a full-time editor. It's just me. So my needs are way less than that company is to even make a profit. And you got to think how that is razor thin. The minute an economic shift comes through here and everyone gets nervous, what's the first thing they pull? Their marketing budget. And they can
Yep.
pull that back quick. And that entire model is built off of advertising. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it comes to those big partnerships, I do want to make it known that, like, for instance, I'm trying to partner up with the school district. All of these big bids that rely on state money, they have to go through a bid system. And so that is all public record. So I went through the CFISD bid system. I found out who won their marketing contract back in 2022, and I contacted him, and now I'm pitching him to try to advertise CFISD through my newsletter. There are backdoors to everything. It's just how much are you willing to look,
Well,
right?
it's how much are you willing to? How much do you even know how to? And so again, it's totally doable. It just takes a lot of effort and, you know, I don't want to say intelligence. That's not the right word, but the ability to get creative and go find the ways to get in front of those people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, or even just putting in the time, right? Like, so I went to there was an all day Chamber of Commerce event, like their once a year big event, uh, this week I think it was, and I made some really good relationships. Had some people
Mm-hmm.
like city council members tell me they're reading my stuff, right? Like, what the
Mm-hmm.
heck? Like, none of
Yeah,
these
it feels
people
good. It
respond to
feels
you.
good.
Yeah, because it's like, God, I've been doing this a year. Why didn't you reply and like tell me that? But once you're
Yeah.
around in person, then they tell you, right? And then some animal hospital is another one that's probably a really good one, because I talked to a lady who is involved in animal hospitals, and she was just like, I was telling her how our model works, and her jaw was on the floor. Like, you're telling me you have that many people reading of that exact demographic that you
Mm-hmm.
can track, like, this is literally who they want to get in front of, right?
Yes.
Um,
And I don't know if
yeah.
you've ran into this problem. I know we only are 10 minutes in, so please cut me off if I'm going over.
No, go ahead.
Um, so I bet you've ran into this problem. A lot of when I'm approaching businesses who don't understand our model, the first thing they ask about is our circulation. And I'm like, well, it's this many subscribers, we get this many views, this many impressions. That means this many people saw your ad and read it in my newsletter. And they are so, so stuck on print. But when I lay it out to them, I'm like, so, you know, they were in a local magazine that it's technically my competition, but not really because they don't do digital very well. But anyway, they send out a magazine that has like, I want to say around 50 ads. There's no exclusivity. So when I'm talking to this guy, I'm like, okay, so you had an ad, how much did that cost you? And how many people did it reach? Oh, it went out to 5,000 homes. I said, no, that's how many they sent it to. How many opened it? They're like, well, it went to five. It's okay. You don't know if it got in their inbox for one, because the mail system, right? You don't know if it got in their hands for two, if they flipped through it, opened it, or just simply threw it away. You don't know that. And if they did open it and read it, did they click on it? Oh, wait, they can't click on anything. So they would have to take their phone out and scan. Print is a wonderful medium for awareness, but trackability, it cannot compete with digital. And that's why you need both.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think I mentioned on one of my recent podcasts that you heard it about one of these not community impact. They're legit,
Hmm.
but one of the non-legit ones that was not delivering the amount they were saying they were delivering, right? So
Yeah.
how do you know,
And you can't,
right?
you
How do you
don't,
know?
you
Um,
don't.
yeah, yeah. And again, I even love the whole angle of like, okay, well, let's say just for argument's sake, say 1,000 people actually read the magazine. First of all, what does read mean? Does that mean they looked at every single page? And if they looked at every page, did they see your ad on page 28 in the corner? Like, um, probably not realistically, right? At least a very small percentage would. So,
So that's why I say it with a little more confidence than I probably should. But when I say there's no competition, I think the only competition is myself and my own
yeah,
abilities and my own bandwidth. And it's like, if I can do this much and it's just me, and you have a whole team and I'm already like halfway there and you've been doing this for 4 years, there isn't a competition. It's just
yeah.
my timeline and I'm going to reach you eventually, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. So,
Well, it's because you have founder mindset, right? So this is something else for everyone to understand. A company like Community Impact, which I want to be more like them as I'm growing these in around the
mhm.
country. I want to have more employees and a sales team and all these things. But you just know that when you have these things, you move slower, and you
You move
can't.
forward.
And the people who are not only are they moving slower, they don't have the investment that you do when you own the damn thing. It's just, this is human nature, right?
Hmm.
So this is your baby. You are going to make all the money from it. You are going to go way faster, way more effort, way more everything than some sales
Hmm.
guy making 50K plus commission. He's not going
Yep.
to do what you're going to do. He's not as invested.
No. No,
Yeah.
and they can't sell it like I can. And you gave me the best piece of advice on our call. You said, people connect with people, they don't connect with like businesses. They connect with the person.
Brand.
And you were like, if you want to do this, you're going to have to stop being scared and get on social media. And you told me that, and I was
Yeah.
like, because I hadn't
Yeah.
been on social media for about 7 years before starting this thing. It's just not my jam, but that's where my subscribers are, and that's where my businesses are that I'm connecting with. That was the best piece of advice, and I got out of my own way, and it just like exploded from there, right? So much
So glad you
opportunity
did.
opened up.
So glad you did, and that's why you're here too. I know you were even hesitant to come on here, but I think we'll get a lot of feedback here that you crushed it. So you
Great.
definitely, I'm glad you got out of your own way. Um, awesome. Well, Ashley, this has been really great. What else? Anything else you want to leave people with, or how they can, if you want people to reach out to you or find you
Yeah,
in some way?
it's Ashlyn at cypressdigest.com. And yeah, best piece of advice, don't be afraid to test. And when it doesn't work, kill it and try something else because something will work.
Yeah,
Just keep going.
that's mine too. Also, just take action, right? You learn
Take
from taking
action.
action. You don't learn from sitting around analyzing. Maybe you learn a little, but you learn the
Yeah.
most and the best stuff from taking action.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been great, Ashlyn. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll have you on again relatively soon as a bunch of this stuff starts to come through for you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Perfect. Thanks.